Welcome back to the Swish Podcast. It's your boy Swish, where we interview entrepreneurs, trainers, designers, or all the above. Today, we're back in sunny San Diego at the AIM Basketball Lab. Today, we have an awesome special guest, someone I met at a basketball conference, and we just decided we were going to make this happen. So let me get the credentials. So we got former collegiate player, behavioral therapist, elite basketball coach. Today, we got a special guest, Coach David. How you doing, bro? Yes, sir. And we also have his assistant over here, Marcellus. How you doing, man? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're going to get into it. So we have the privilege of being in his lab. So tell us who you are. Tell us what you do.
Thank you very much for that introduction.
Yeah.
So what we do here is we provide obviously basketball training.
Mm-hmm.
We like to emphasize the importance of decision making, working on confidence for our athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Ranging from we got kids as young as 4. We're just kind of this started in during COVID, which I had opportunity to have a little bit more time to kind of make this dream come into reality.
That's where a lot of stuff started.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for basketball, I've been playing since I've been 4 years old. And in my day job, I'm a behavior analyst. So with that, it's basically to kind of make that a long story short, with behavior analysis. It focuses on the environment and trying to get the best out of the client, if you will. Right. So currently it's used heavily with kids with autism and developmental disorders and things of that nature.
No.
So I looked at this as a way to kind of pivot and focus on the behavior of basketball, right? There's a lot of different behaviors. There's just a lot of ways that we can get into the analytics of it and how to really kind of teach those things that you can't really specifically tell athletes. You want them to kind of learn through action and kind of through experience. So that's a big thing that we harp on here at AIM.
Yes, sir. So yeah, one thing with entrepreneurship, a lot of it is pivoting. You might start off, all right, I'm going to start off with the high schoolers. All right, no market there. We're going to go to the middle schoolers. All right, what else could I do? Let's do the preschoolers and everybody over there. So you can see sometimes you got to find the market, adapt, pivot, and find your niche. So tell us about your basketball journey, growing up. How'd you go from basketball, in high school to college, into that transition into that behavioral analyst role?
Absolutely, yeah. So I did AAU. The AAU. Been playing since I was young. A lot of where the passion kind of came from too is my brother. He's 7 years older than me, so kind of always playing up, playing a little older. Not taking excuses, just taking that as an opportunity to get better. Work on my float game because I gotta,
get it over. I gotta
get it over the big brother. But yeah, and then kept on going with it through high school, varsity captain and things of that nature. And then I kept on playing in college. I played in a small school in Dover, Delaware. Not a lot of people probably out here know about Delaware or even know it's a state, but yes, it is the first state.
Yeah. I was out there last year. It's pretty cool.
A little bit to do. Yeah.
It's right there next to Pennsylvania too.
It's little things. It's there a lot. Yeah, you got Maryland, you got Philly, you got DC. They're all near.
Yeah.
But actually surprisingly pretty good basketball area as well too. But yeah, so I played college there as well too. Great opportunity there. Smaller school, but still pretty competitive out there. And then after that, from an education standpoint, I started getting really interested in psychology, and then
Me too.
found out about.
I read that.
Absolutely, psychology, understanding the why people do things, and originally I wanted to do sports psychology, then started taking sports psychology classes, and then we all go through our own growth, and at that point, wasn't as motivated, I'll be honest, for school.
Yeah.
So it was a grind to get into class, and class didn't always. But through that, learned, definitely pivoted after that, and was able to find motivation. And basketball has always been there as a way to kind of get energy out, get that mind clear. So then, I got into a path with applied behavioral analysis, which is kind of a branch of psychology, and developed. As my schooling, got my master's and did all the tests I had to do to get credentialed, and then moved out to sunny San Diego.
Yeah, that's a vibe.
Absolutely.
You can't stay out there in Delaware. Come on, man.
I can't stay in Delaware. And if you like to be outside, Massachusetts doesn't really allow that because it's pretty cold all the time.
Yeah, sub-zero right there. That's a no-go.
Absolutely. So that brought me to, that's a little bit about my background.
Hey, okay, I've been getting money, what's wrong with you, baby? She want my bag, what's wrong with you, baby? I can see you hating, what's wrong with you, baby? Had to raise my standards, what's wrong with you, wrong with you? Hey, tell me what's wrong with you. Hey, tell me what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong with you? Hey, tell me what's wrong with you. Hey, tell me what's wrong, tell me what's wrong. Got a call on my line, hey, yo, what's up?
What's your philosophy as a basketball trainer? So applied behavioral, therapy, that's a little different lane than what we're normally like used to. So what's your philosophy in that regards that separates you from other training facilities and programs?
Absolutely. So very, very true. Yeah. So the ABA, not the American Basketball Association and the A in AIM is actually short for 3 words. So it's a little confusing. So ABA in motion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. So yeah, basically two avenues that definitely don't interact with each other, and they do not, totally different populations. I've definitely taken the philosophies and principles, of ABA, but I've been very flexible and pivoted as well, and learned from a lot of sports psychologists and had a lot of great conversations with people who have taught me about the constraint-led approach. So the constraint-led approach is, in short,
we're going to put that right here. Constraint-led approach.
Constraint-led approach.
Go ahead.
So basically, in short, what that is being able to create drills and situations where you're immediately put into that situation of having to make up a decision, right? There's going to be constraints within the drill. Okay. So it might be that you have to finish within the paint, right? There's competition involved. So a big thing that we harp on is that everything is competitive. It doesn't matter like the age necessarily. We want to make sure that the kids have have that confidence to be able to knock down a shot, defended and contested. So there's always a challenge. There's always a constraint put on. Maybe they can only use their right hand, or maybe they start in a position where they're off balance, or maybe they're starting at kind of like off to the side, or automatically into an impactful moment where you have to make a reaction, or you're starting backwards and then you have to turn around and then kind of respond to information, and then and try to plan out how that's going to work without really having a lot of time to try to mimic those situations. So.
Yes, sir. We see like a lot of like Steph Curry credits some of that type of training to like his success, because you'll see like him, as soon as like they hit the light, he has to do like a little quick pass, like instantaneous like reaction. Yeah. So that's what it kind of seems like you're doing.
Absolutely. And I mean, we all learn absolutely as entrepreneurs, and we might have like a little, so before I used to do a lot kind of just reps. Okay. We're just going to rep out everything, and then measure that. And, I took pride in being a little bit different of the measurement tools that we were using graphic analysis and things like that. But then wasn't necessarily always finding success in my athletes. You know what I mean? Just because they're able to do a certain movement here, okay, they can rep out, 100 made baskets or whatever over a certain amount of time. If they're not doing it in a way that translates to when you're covered, then what's the point of it? I'm wasting time.
Yep.
And time's valuable, gym space is valuable, and can be expensive. So we want to make our sessions as efficient, effective as possible within that hour. So
awesome. All right, Sam, that was the point guard section. We're going to move on to the shooting guard section, where we're going to ask a couple questions, rapid fire. You just got to answer real quick. Let me pull them up real quick. It's right off the dome. All right, first question. Jason Tatum or Luka Doncic?
Oh, Tatum.
Tatum. Okay, you surprised me a little bit. Okay, Lakers or Clippers?
Lakers or Clippers? All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm biased with this. I'm going to go Clippers. I feel like Lakers holds a better dynasty overall, but the Clippers just hold.
Yes, sir. All right, here's one.
San Diego Clippers, too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, this one's going to divide the crowd a little bit. LeBron or Kobe?
You got it.
All right. I respect Kobe. I love Kobe. I love LeBron, and I got to go LeBron just because of the dynamic aspect of his game. He is...
All right, we go. Yeah, 3 seconds. Splashing a step back or flushing that dunk?
step back, but I would love to flesh a dunk. It's been a really long time.
All right, you guys switch it up. Tupac or Dr. Dre?
Tupac.
I knew you were gonna say that. You always put it on your reel. YG or Nipsey?
Nip.
Nip. All right. Showtime Lakers or the Dynasty Bulls?
From the 90s. I gotta go Bulls.
You gotta go Bulls. Trip to the Caribbean or Hawaii? Caribbean.
I gotta say Caribbean. My wife is from Jamaica.
Okay, good answer. Good answer. Who's winning the NBA championship this year?
Celtics.
Warriors. Warriors. Trip. Sprint or marathon?
Sprint.
Hey, first time. Took 3 podcasts to get a sprint. David or Goliath?
Oh, well, my name is David, so I would definitely go with Dave.
That's 3 Davids. No one chooses Goliath. All right, that's it in the shooting podcast. Boom. Clock just ended. All right, now we're gonna go into some more deeper questions. We're gonna go into the small forward section. So we're gonna get into some controversy now. So y'all probably seen the leg kick rule. People kicking their leg out on that shot. Some people like, that's an unnatural motion. Some are like, that's a natural motion. Some say they're ruling the defense out the game since they can't like come up on them. What's your stance? Is the leg kick, is it a natural motion or is it something that is like taught? What's your stance on it?
I think they're manipulating the game with that. The one, I get it in terms of like giving me space to land, but if your leg going to a place where like they're not even, it's just mainly for foul.
Yeah.
I kind of stand on the same thing there that any rule there's going to be people who manipulate it. I think there are instances in which that it should be called, but we need a little bit of subjectivity to it because some dudes are just kind of falling in really awkward ways that they're just trying to get those 3 free throws.
Yes, sir. So some players like Reggie Miller, like he's like he throws that thing up.
Yeah.
But what like a Kobe Bryant? He does it like it looks like he's not trying to get the foul, but do you think it should still be a foul? Because he's using it, I think, for power on the fadeaway. So like you could say it's natural, but does that necessarily mean it should be illegal?
It is. I feel like it's more of how like your leg responds to a defense around you. Because if you're shooting with the attack just to make it, it's different when someone's like kicking their leg out to try to get that extra foul ball.
Yeah. So they agree that it should be a foul, like if it goes all the way out.
Yeah.
But like I think there was a Jason. I'm gonna put it up there. The Jason Tatum play, where the guy kind of went through the leg a little bit.
Yeah.
But he did kick it out a little bit. Yeah. His hand was on his chest a little bit, but they didn't call it.
Oh, to win to
against Kuba. Yeah. So that one they were like, all right, it came out, so we ain't gonna call it. What do you think about that call?
That was a tough one. Just to take being biased out of this, I appreciate all the Boston questions.
Yeah, we got
that. Objectively, I could see both sides. That is where we're getting really into the nitpicky part of that because
what do you think about? So he did go through the leg. He did go through the leg a little
too, but it's to decide the game. I'm more actually on the side of kind of letting them play in that at that.
Because
we're really.
Well, that's when we grew up. Now we grew up like I remember in the 2000s. You could get mauled on the last shot. Refs never called it. Pissed everybody off. And they're like, nah, you got to make that. Yeah, I grew up a Clipper fan. That happened. I can remember 10 games to the half. So, yeah. So that one's kind of tough. It is subjective. There's a science to it. A lot of players do use it for power. Some people use it for balance. But I don't know. That's a tough question. All right, let's go to the next one. So another hot topic is AAU. What do you think about AAU culture and how it's developing kids? Is it developing them in a positive way or are we going down a negative path?
I think it's moderation. I think everything needs moderation, to be honest. I went through AAU. It's definitely turned into another thing, though, these days that it seems like the amount of time that is going into games, it can be a little bit of overload. Right. Like I think skill development, there needs to be a good balance of skill development and competitive games. Cause also, when we were growing up, people were always hooping outside.
Yep.
They were getting that live game from natural times and driving around in San Diego. We got beautiful basketball courts outside, but they're not necessarily being used. So
yeah, I drove by one earlier, like fresh new paint job, glass gym. I'm like, that's a shame right there. Let me hop over there.
Sometimes people I think are going a little too far with the AAU with exposure, because they think that they're going to get exposure at times when it might be. Personally, I think sometimes it's a little bit of a money grab as well. You know,
They have, like, I looked at some of the prices that they charge for tournament. Ridiculous. And then I look at like how much they actually pay.
yeah,
I'm like, they're like double or tripling it.
yeah,
Like, I get it. You got to pay for the coaches, the facilities.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, they're 10 years old. It's like,
Yes.
you're paying like 10 bands.
Yes. Exactly. And then you're most likely going to get a certain demographic people too that are going to be able to have that opportunity too. So, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get footage from my last tournament, but it's a certain demographic.
Yeah.
If you dig what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So yeah, you already talked about it a little bit. So what do you think about the balance? So some teams are playing like 5-6 games in a weekend, not necessarily focusing on practice. You think there's a balance between, what do you think is the balance of the skill development, you know, proper fundamentals, learning the plays, pivoting, like all that stuff, and then the games on the weekends, like tournaments? What do you think should be like the ratio of skill development time to tournament time?
I would say this is short too, that you listen to some of the best players, NBA players, they talk about how important practice was and how hard practice is. So with eliminating that, I think we're going to lose out on a lot of learning opportunities. So I think a proper ratio would be, you know, maybe like math ain't my strong suit with ratios, I'm trying to think. But maybe just like a perfect world would be like 2 to 3 training sessions a week, practice, and 2 games in a week. You know, if you're serious about basketball, I think that's the path to success, because you're kind of hitting it from all angles. You're getting the group, you're getting your team, you're getting your individual work or small group work and training, and then you're getting your competition on the weekends.
That's dope. Yeah, because like you get to develop the skill and then they get to apply it. Yeah, you know, like if they're doing it for fun, it's like, all right, want to be around some people, learn some skills. All right, skill training. But like I believe, just like he said, like if you mix both of them, that nice ratio, and it might be different for some people. Like some people might not be ready yet, and they might need a little bit more, because you probably heard of like the developmental teams where they're put through the different plays, schemes, routes as if they're on the team. They don't quite play in the tournament yet, so there might be like, it depends on what path you're on. So, but competitive athlete, that makes complete sense. Awesome. All right, so we're gonna go into the next part. So behavioral analyst, tell us, what do you think is the ideal way to get to shape the mind? So working on the mental game of a young athlete, 8, 9, 10 years old. Yeah. What's the ideal? Like you see some parents are like super hard, super tough. Some baby them too much. Like where do we want to be on the spectrum so they have the confidence, but they still have discipline?
That's a great question. I'd say a lot of the fundamentals of ABA have to do with like motivating through reinforcement and encouragement. Accountability is taught through that, what kind of drives them and motivates them. What I find a lot in basketball, a lot of people are self-motivated or by the attention that they might get. So if they're getting a lot of attention, negative attention, sometimes that's just going to hurt them. I think everything's individualized, obviously. So 8, 9, and 10, there's a lot of different things that are going on. I don't think you can kind of baby them where it's a good job for everything when that's not necessarily, you know, a point where they can really raise the bar and keep going up.
So you're a no on the participation trophies?
No, we can't be giving all these awards for everything, because absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's always going to be people better on the team, and they're going to be there to also help out the people that are, you know, deeper on the bench to get better. You know what I mean? Because, you know, there's a reason for that too. So it is, again, there's a balance to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you ever, cause like me, I've had it where it's like, they're not focused, they're not paying attention. You might have to like dig into them. Yeah, there's an element, I feel like there's an element of like that kid has to find like his purpose, what he loves to do, his passion. And then like you said, the parent has to be like a guide. Like they know the certain pitfalls of certain things. So they can prevent him. It's like, all right, we're not going that route. He's going to burn out. We're not going to go that route because he's not getting challenged enough. So they're like they narrow the road so they stay on that right path. Yes, sir. All right, so that was a small forward section. We're going to get a little deeper. We're going to go into the power forward section. So now we're going to ask the hard questions. So what what's the most difficult thing you found being an entrepreneur, especially as a basketball trainer?
Time. I would say time is very hard, allocating enough time to all the different projects. You know, you got to wear a lot of hats. And honestly too, the importance of a team, developing a team that you trust, and building the community that is aligned with your vision is super hard. You know, I've learned a lot through mistakes that I've made, but yeah, developing a team around you that is aligned with the vision is super important. And if you don't have that, then you're just going to burn yourself out, and you're not going to necessarily be putting 100% of your mind into it and you know.
Yeah. So resource allocation. So that could be time, that could be skill, like getting people who are better than you at certain aspects.
Absolutely.
Certain people who can market, certain people who they're a little better explaining things. Sometimes you got to put other people in front of the camera. Like we all want to be in front of the camera, but sometimes like, all right, it's a show.
Yes.
And you're the director. That's what I think of. All right. What's the hardest thing that you went through in life that built you to be an entrepreneur? Because some people, it's like, oh, this happened. Like I lost everything.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I got it all back. Like, what do you think molded you? What quality was instilled into you?
Absolutely. I think that's a good question. So personally, I got ADHD. And you know, so things didn't automatically come to me. They weren't easy. So even just learning how to play basketball and things like that. So I think a lot of obstacles that have been put my way in my life, like outside of basketball, part of basketball, just keep going and making sure that even when things get hard, that, you know, it might sound cliche, when things get hard, you just got to you just got to keep going and remember the vision, and just, you know, you got to make sacrifice. Because for a while, you know, I would want to hang out. We're in San Diego, there's so much to do. I'd want to go hang out with friends and go to the beach and do this, that, and the other. But no, I got to be, you know, lesson planning for the next session and doing things that are more important for the long haul too. So I say sacrifice is super important.
Awesome. All right. So next question. This is the question every entrepreneur has asked themselves. Have you been like, I'm out. Like, cool. I'm done.
Shit. Yeah. There's been those times. Yeah. And I've been getting those grays, for sure. You know, obviously I, you know, having a wife as well as balancing, like, you know, she's very supportive of everything, but balancing all, you know, different responsibilities and things like that. Yeah. There's been times where I'm just like, is this worth it? Am I going to get through this? You know, the ebbs and flows of basketball training, you know, that there's certain seasons that clientele is going to be way down and maybe some of the trainers are not really a good match. And now I'm blessed with a very good trainer right here to my side too, who shares the same vision, who comes with who has a whole different area that he brings that's different from me, that gives our clients amazing service too. So yeah, there's been those moments, but I'm happy that kept going.
Yes, sir. So say like you had those months where it's like, all right, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. It's like, okay, I'm sweating a little bit. A month. Like, what's going through your mind at that point? Like, we know there's stress. You know, like you have to put yourself out there. What's like your mindset during those times?
I try to get a little bit more self-reflective, get into all that, you know, mental health stuff too. Honestly, I can do a lot better with that. What helps? I mean, honestly, conversations. I'm gonna be honest too. I'm a mama's boy, so little therapy sessions in the car, talking to my mom, talking things out. I mean, really just expressing it with the community around me has helped with it a lot. So at ABA_in_motion, and then website is readyaimhoop.com.
Yes, sir. Marcellus.
At Cellus9, CELLUZ9.
Yes, sir. And then make sure to follow Swish Podcast at nextgenemf.com or the Swish Podcast. Also, look at our merch at swishpodcast.com. That's where you'll be able to find like our glasses, basketballs. I don't have one on me right here. Wristbands, all that fun stuff. So it's been another episode. Hope y'all enjoyed it. It's been a blessing. We'll catch y'all.